join. Hello, sir. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We'll wait for a few more minutes because we said the YouTube live is at 3 p.m.
Has Gayatri joined?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work. Good afternoon to one and all present here. I take immense pleasure in welcoming you all to Hallway BIZ'23, a national webinar. Today's chief guest is Mr. Sushil Kumar Batra. Ma'am, can you hear me, ma'am?
You're audible. You're audible. I think it's Gayatri, right? Okay, can go ahead. Want to switch on the video so that we can
Today's
see your
chief
face?
guest. Today's chief guest is Mr. Sushil Kumar Batra. Sir has completed Bachelor's in Engineering with specialization in Electronics and Communication from Anna University. Sir has also completed Advanced DSP program from IIT Madras and completed MS with full scholarship in Electrical Engineering with Wireless Communication as a course specialization from Ohio University. Sir has also completed a thesis in modeling wireless channels. With a technical analytical mind, he took the leap into a business starting Ahmed Kamal Foundation, a construction firm, Alpha Sense proximity based solution provider, and Pakura Foreign in Business LLP, providing fund solution for business to grow. When it comes to leadership, Sir leads in the following institutions and organizations. Vice President of Indian Students Association, Ohio University, co-lead Job Affair Project, Career Fest at Rajasthan Youth Association for 2 consecutive years, been in the leadership team for 2 terms in Business Networking International BNI Aspire Chapter, organized Business Networking Forum Bispired with 200 plus entrepreneurs from Chennai have attended. When it comes to sports, Sir is an active swimmer and has won in many competitions. We are extremely privileged to have you here, sir. Once again, we welcome you.
Thank you so much, Gayatri, for the wonderful introduction. I'm really glad to be here.
Thank you, sir. I request sir to take over.
Thank you. I shall just share my screen. Is everyone able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can I start?
Yeah, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Gayatri, for the wonderful introduction. I'm Sushil, and today we're going to learn more about how you can enhance your finance. Before we move forward, we have to understand that money plays an important role in everyone's daily life, and we need to decode and understand how money really works. Should we control the money or should money control us? So this entire session is actually going to focus about the money aspect of it, and how wonderfully we actually can be aware of the nitty-gritties of money and how we can use it to our favor and help it make more wealth for us. So before we go ahead, we should be know that money is not just gives happiness, but some people who are not able to utilize money properly have faced even bankruptcy. Yes, a wealthy have also turned bankrupt. So money is not just having the money is not the solution for everything. You also need to know how you can utilize the money. So these are the bankruptcies which are, these I'm just taking the recent bankruptcies, but there are many. Many wealthy have turned bankrupt. Mike Tyson, he was $30 million in debt, but Mike Tyson earned $300 million in his entire career. We know the famous Amitabh Bachchan bankruptcy in 1999, where he was 90 crore in debt, and the famous Anil Ambani. Who doesn't know Anil Ambani? And he had $42 billion of fortune when Reliance was split vertically, and he got his part of share. But again, unable to manage money efficiently, we're going to understand what happened and why happened. And the most famous, Sushil Kumar from 2011. He was actually from a lower background. He had a very nice intellect mind, and he won. He was a winner of KBC 5, and the gentleman won 5 crore rupees. Imagine. Overnight his life has changed, but he was not able to manage money properly, and now he's also been bankrupt. So is this a case with everyone, or is this just a case with only few who have money? But you need to understand the next slide. It says almost 1/4 of Americans are living from paycheck to paycheck going into 2023. So this is not said by me. These are the articles which are published in America. So it is not just the wealthy who turn bankrupt. The current scenario with the salaried persons are, they're not able to get the hold of the money, and they're living from paycheck to paycheck. The phrase paycheck to paycheck means that they wait for the next salary so that they can pick that paycheck can take care of their entire month. So this is what living paycheck to paycheck is. You'll be surprised with the next slide I'm going to show you. This paycheck to paycheck living is not just constrained to people who are in a lower class of the society, or maybe they're earning not enough. You will be surprised that this is not the case. According to one of the articles, 61% were actually living from paycheck to paycheck. And this was up from 52% in 2021. But the biggest surprise is the rise in the people living from paycheck to paycheck for people who are earning $100,000 to $150,000. And if you can ask me what is $100,000 at current exchange rate, it is close to 82 lakhs to 1.2 crores. People earning that much amount of money are actually living paycheck to paycheck. Just imagine the fact. You're earning 82 lakhs, around 7 lakhs a month. And still, your lifestyle is such that you're forced to live from paychecks to paychecks. That means they're not saved enough, or they made some mistakes, or they have committed their lifestyle so that they're not able to keep up to that lifestyle. And that's the reason they're pushed to live from paycheck to paycheck. Now, this is the most important part. I just want to give you a wide variety of range of how that not everyone with money is happy, and not everyone with money knows how to deal with it. So the biggest issue, with the first generation entrepreneur, I would say, are people who are joining the job or living on salaries. They need to understand and get control over the money. So this is why this entire session is going to discuss about how you can actually take control. See, money can be understood in two different ways: production, consumption. Production means what things that you do that makes you earn more money. That's the production part of it. Or what are the different things that you can do? Say you are salaried, or say you are owning a business. That's the production part of the money, to earn more money. Okay. Now the other part is consumption. Okay. Now our habits actually, see, your production may be fixed if you're a salaried person, but your habits leads to consumption. So what kind of habits that you need to be aware of? So because from you're maybe in college currently, or some maybe also be working part-time. So from here on, you need to be aware of the pitfalls going forward once you go into the real life, or what can actually be affected, how your wealth can be affected. So my entire next hour is going to be only focused more about the awareness part of it, that where we cannot, where we should not fall, or what are the pitfalls, or what we need to do. So these are the two important things: production and versus consumption. So chapter 1, what we will do is we will start with understanding what is money. money, as we know, in the pockets, like we have seen, like we have 2000 is the maximum currency that we have today, and it goes from 10 rupee note, which is in circulation, to 20 rupee note. So these are all currency notes. You need to understand what is money. Earning the money and having in the bank account, or earning by cash, having in the hand. So this is the money. Now you need to before going forward about more forward about the consumption part, we need to understand what actually is money. See, now I'll give you an example. Say you had rupees 100 at 2010, okay, and you just did nothing. You just took that 100 rupee, kept it in the safe locker in your house, or kept it in the bureau which you have, or kept it in a purse which you just forgot. So in 2010, had you had rupees 100, okay, the value of that rupees 100 in today's terms would be, say, as a cash, would always be as a cash, which is 100 rupees. Had you put in a car, which is buying 100 rupee worth of car, and today's value in the car would be rupees 10. You'll understand why this car value has been depreciated to rupees 10. Had you put that in a savings account, it would have appreciated to rupees 145. Had you put in silver, gold, it would have appreciated approximately. Now, the next part is, have you put the money in equity, like stocks? Then your value would have appreciated much higher than the savings account, the interest rates in the banks, or slightly higher than the banks, other than buying gold. So your money would have worth, depending on which shares you would have bought. Say if you had bought Amazon, you would have got 2,000 rupees. If you bought Apple, you got 1,340. And if you had by chance had bought Bitcoin is only worth that time around 2 rupees actually per coin. And now you know what the value is. You would have earned actually 3 crore 40 lakhs. So the problem with cash is keeping the cash idle is not going to help you. Keeping the cash back at home, it's not going to help you, because money is depreciating. Money deflates. You lose the value of the money every day. So you need to understand what is the difference between currency and money. Does anyone know? Say money is holding, a currency is holding, the same or different? Is it going to be same or different? What do you think? Just give a thought. Money versus currency, is both the same or both different? You'll be surprised by knowing this. I mean, I know some of you would be knowing it. They'll be really smart on that. But most of it, they would think that money and currency are the same. Money is actually a store of value. And it is something which people accept for the exchange of goods and services that you do. And like this, and my example of money would be like a gold, silver, copper, brass. And this is the future. And this is, if you go like 100, 200 years back, these were the only things that was used as, considered as money. It is a store of value. I mean, it is a real value. I mean, it is a real a thing that really holds a value. Now come to 1972, or post 1972, come to these last 50 years. You got something called currency. And currency is only, again, a medium of exchange. It has actually zero value. And it has no natural value, or it doesn't have any intrinsic value. So you'll be surprised and amazed. Money is different from currency. Currency is only a medium of exchange. It doesn't hold any value. You take the 2,000 rupees note and you turn to pieces. That's it. You lose your money. But if you have a gold and even you do anything with that, it's going to still have the value. Even if the gold is broken down into small pieces, it still has value. So value is intact. So the examples of currency is your regular fiat currencies like the dollar, the rupee, the yuan, and the euro, pounds. These are all the fiat currencies. So you need to understand this very clearly going forward, that when you earn, when you do something, you need to store, to put something, buy something valuable, put your money in valuable things, not having it as a currency. So currency will actually lose its value, and currency has lost value to zero. Yes, it is important to understand the difference. The currency has lost value to zero. Previously, I mean, in 17th century, 18th century, the current US dollars were actually backed by gold, and you could actually take that currency which you had, this $100 currency which you have, you could go to the bank and exchange for the $100 value of gold. So the currency was actually backed by the real value, which is the money, which is the dollar. Since they were not able to take, it was backed by gold. So since they were not able to take gold everywhere, and it is very, I mean, if I need a very small value, I'll have to cut it across. So this became difficult. So that is why they came out with something called currency, so that if I have my gold, I'll go and deposit with the banker. He will issue me currencies, which is the dollar notes, and these are like and the dollars is the gold is kept in the treasury to avoid any theft. Now come to 1972. Now what has happened is you've been taken that dollar note which was backed by dollar, which was backed by gold, and you're handed over with something called $100 note, but it's a currency. It is not backed by any gold. Of course, it's a legal tender for all debts, as it says in the $100 note. It's a fiat currency. It is backed with no real asset, and it is issued against debt. All these things involve more deeper thought, but I will not go into it. But I'm just going to highlight the difference between money and currency. If you get it right, money initially when the currency notes were issued, they were backed by gold. But currently, these currencies which we have, even in India, it is not backed by any gold. So money is actually, you need to understand that the purchasing power. I mean, there's something called purchasing power. $100 rupees which I have today will be worth lesser than its value which is today than if I take it 5 years down. So this is the purchasing power of any currency. If I had a 1,000 rupees note 10 years back, which we saw in the first slide, and the value of 10 years later, the purchasing power reduced because I'm not able to buy 100 rupees. I'm not going to be able to buy the same amount of gold. So there's a reducing the purchasing power of the currency. So this will be a good example. The price of gold in 1964 was actually 63.25. I mean, for every 63 rupees 25 paisa, you could buy 10 gram of gold. And come today, 2022, you know what the prices are. I mean, today it's like 59,000 per gram. So had you had 63 rupees just with you doing nothing and come to 2022, you would not be able to buy the same amount of gold which you were able to buy in 1964. So what does it talk about the currency? The currency is depreciating. It loses its purchasing power. And due to some reasons why it loses its purchasing power. We need to understand all this. See, the idea being to make you aware is you need to understand the nitty-gritty of how the currency and money works, because only then you will be above the game in the finance. These things may or may not be taught in the regular course of our course in BBA or any other course. But these are understood. I mean, these are actually kept secret from everyone. Only people, because they don't want you to know it. Because if you know it, you will actually mimic the top people. So the idea is these things are all kept hidden from the larger public. But my goal over here is to make you aware of the two differences and to make you aware of how we can handle things with production and consumption. So in a CAGR is you are all BBA students, so you'll be knowing it's compounded annual growth return. So the gold, having 10 grams of gold in N64 had given me a 10.2% CAGR. But if I take from 1971, it has given me 11.8% CAGR. So which is probably a good growth rate for when you see investments. It's a good growth rate. 12% CAGR is a very good growth rate. Now understand the same thing. I'm inversing this. I'm just inversing it. Had you had 1 lakh cash of what today in your bank or in your locker or in your home, what would be value or what will be purchasing power of that currency down the line in the next couple of years? So you can see how the money loses its value, and this given the fact that inflation plays a most important role. See, 8% inflation. Inflation is your enemy. Inflation. I'm going to talk about next part of the inflation. How inflation hurts your purchasing power. So this is like 1 lakh you had, and 23 worth 65,000, and it's you can see how the value is reduced to 5,400. That means what this means is what amount of worth of 1 lakh you can buy today, you're only able to buy for 5,000 in 2053. So that's the amount of power which you're losing. For 5,000 today, if you buy, say, today if you're buying, say, Chennai to Bombay, a flight ticket, so that would cost around like 5,400 today. So that will cost 1 lakh rupee worth in future. So that's the amount of purchasing power that which money is losing over the period of years. So I want you to understand all these things about what is this. So is it just us, or is it the rupee is doing it, or is it any other currency is doing it? See, remember, this is not just rupee. Every other currency depreciates the same way, because it's all fiat currencies. So fiat currencies would depreciate in value going forward. So it is the inherent behavior of this fiat currencies. You can see this is how the dollar, which was worth $100 in 1913, is only worth like a couple of $1 or $2 today in today's dollar terms. This after all the crisis that has gone by, after so many recessions, after so many crises. This is the $100 of 1913 is worth $3 or $2 for today. So that's how you lose your purchasing power. So this is not just our currency. This is actually, if you see, this has happened throughout the fiat currencies. And now we need to understand the difference between how this purchasing power, what affects a purchasing power. See, purchasing power, you're telling me, but what affects it? It's the interest rate and the inflation. See, now before going forward, when you enter the real world, always try to know that even if you're not reading any Times of India or Economic Times or Business Standards, just know one thing: just track inflation. Your only goal should be that to track inflation. Inflation is 2 points: CPI and WPI, consumer inflation and wholesale price inflation. So if you track these two things, I think the more would be the consumer price index. So if you just track the CPI, you would actually know where the market is heading, what kind of interest rates you will be getting in banks. So just to keep a track on inflation rate, that's the most important thing. Today, our inflation has come down to less than 6%. We were there at 7.5% earlier. So the most important thing is to keep a track on inflation. Why am I talking about inflation? Because if the easiest way to beat this inflation is going to eat your money. It's going to eat up. It's like a white ant, termite. It's going to eat up your money. If you keep this money at home and the inflation is 7 to 8%, so you're losing the purchasing power by 7 to 8% each year on year. That's how inflation is eating like a termite. So now the easiest way, without any using of the application of mind, the best way to beat the inflation is having a fixed deposit. So if you have two options, your interest rate is how. Now this is just one point I want to show you. See, option 1 gives you 8.5% interest rate. The other one gives, and inflation is 9%. And option 2, you have 6% interest rate, but the inflation rate is 5.8%. In which option would you earn more money? I mean, your purchasing power would actually be secured. I know you'll be thinking like 8.5%. Why not I go for 8.5%? But the thing is, for 8.5%, the given inflation is 9%. So you'll actually be losing money in the first option, and you'll actually be making more money, or your purchasing power, you're safeguarding purchasing power in option number 2. So that's the power of, these are the actual returns. So that's the power of knowing. Sorry? So that's the power of. So that's the power of knowing the inflation along with the interest rate. Now at some countries, the inflation rate is so high that they were spiraling out of control. Have you heard about the starving billionaires of Zimbabwe? Yeah, they had this $1 billion currency in Zimbabwe. They had to issue a $1 billion note in Zimbabwe, and they were starving. They were still starving. They are not billionaires in terms of. They may be billionaires in terms of currency, but they're not billionaires in terms of the value, because this is the evil of inflation. Hyperinflation would eat your valuation of the currency every day and very soon. So this much of amount, this pic actually depicts the same thing. This much of amount was required to just buy a loaf of bread on that day. And tomorrow it would need 30% more if the inflation is spiraling out of control. So this happened in Zimbabwe a couple of years back, and this is the highest ever note printed in recent history. It's a $10 trillion note. And as Voltaire says, at the end, fiat money returns to its intrinsic value, which is zero. Having $1 trillion note is equivalent to having nothing. So that is what Voltaire said in 1770. That at the end, the fiat currency will return to its intrinsic value, which is a zero. Now there are a lot of other countries which saw hyperinflation. Rome in 300 AD, China, France, Austria, Bolivia, Brazil, Venezuela, and lately, I mean, Sri Lanka last year had been last couple of years had been facing hyperinflation, and currently also they have to tackle hyperinflation. So just tracking the interest rate or just tracking the inflation rate will actually help you to know where you are heading or where your money is heading. So that is the most important point I just want to open up in this first chapter. So money is nothing but a value which is perceived by someone. Money is made by exchanging value or time. More money can be made by solving bigger problems which create value. These things I will solve it in the last chapter by solving what problems can you solve to make more money. So always focus on solving bigger problems. Again, these things all I will take it forward. So identify the right market. Now again, we come back to our discussion of production versus consumption. See, production is someone who earns, consumption is what we consume, and that's where we spend our money. So we'll go to the next chapter, which is the consumption. This is the most important thing that you need to understand. It's a money trap. So how many of you are aware of something called rat race? I'm sure you would have heard it somewhere that rat race is an endless and a self-defeating and a pointless pursuit. But yeah, just look at the image which I'm sharing currently. This is what 95% of the humans on Earth are actually trapped in something called a rat race cycle. So what is a rat race? A rat race is actually you be happy when you earn that income, and then when you go home, you have your responsibilities to pay the bills, and then since you live in a particular society, you have to purchase or buy something so that you make up to that society. So you purchase something and you do immediate gratification, and the end of the month you have no savings left, and your expenses are beyond your income, so you're living beyond your means. You spend everything that you earn, and at the end of the day, when there's something that comes up, some emergency that comes up, you don't have money to take care of it. And what you do is you go into the debt cycle and the loan cycle. So you have car loans, credit card loans, salary loans, appliances loans. This is the worst. I mean, the many kinds of loans are being offered today, and it's marketed a hell lot of way. The idea is to be aware of something called a rat race cycle, since you will be going into that real world. And I would want you to be aware that such thing is there, that when you earn, even if you earn a lakh of rupee or even 10 lakh rupee, this cycle will always exist. Unless and until you're not aware of it, you will be held up in this cycle and you'll never be able to come out of this cycle. So the first step is to be aware, to being aware. So what is being aware is to be self-aware is not the absence of mistakes, but the ability to learn and correct from them. So there are mistakes happening, you being aware and you're trying to correct it, and so that these mistakes can be avoided going forward. So the first thing to do is to come out of rat race is journal all your expenses. Or a book, or there are sort of apps today. So keep on journaling where you're spending it. So because unless and until you're not aware of where my expenses are going, you will not be able to control it. There's something called and majority people would not want to do that because of something called ostrich effect. You know what ostrich does when it sees danger? It tries to duck its head under the sand, and it seems that it feels that if its head is covered, it is out of danger. I mean, it doesn't have to worry about anything else. So this is what happens. I mean, it's a cognitive effect that causes people to avoid information that they perceive as potentially unpleasant. Like you go for a party and next day and you spend some X amount over there, and next day you're afraid to check what is my bank balance or what is my balance left. So that's called ostrich effect. I mean, so you need to come out of it by facing it and journaling all your expenses. And the second thing would be to take control by budgeting. So you need to know where I should spend, how much I should spend, and once you do that, you will know that you will be in better control of your behavior by budgeting all the expenses. So as the thumb rule goes, 40% of your needs, your monthly income should go towards your food, shelter, medical, your basic needs. 20% towards ability, utility spending. Utility spending would be if you are say working, try to spend the 20% on bettering yourself, in enhancing your skills, so that you are better marketable, so that you can demand more higher pay. So that's how your 20% of the income should go initial years before you get married. After that, there's a lot of expenses that will actually get tied up too. So initially, it is better how much better equipped that you can be. You should try spending more time on that. So 20% should go towards the utility spending. Say 20% should go towards the investment, because it is good to start early. And with the investment, I would say start with the emergency fund. Say what is emergency fund would be having a backup for initially 3 to 4 months of all the expenses. So even if you don't buy any, if you even don't make investment, make an investment in having an emergency fund. What if tomorrow happens something? What if an untoward happens? You don't have to go somewhere and take debt, or go somewhere and ask your friend or ask your uncle. You need to have your own self money, so that you can actually be on your legs and stand again. So initially, ideally would be when you start and go to work, 3 to 4 months of expenses that you need to make an emergency fund. Going forward, the ideal would be 6 months of your monthly expenses. And of course, we all would love to indulge in luxury. So 10% should always be allocated to luxury, because money is there to be enjoyed and to cherish, to enjoy what we can afford. So 10% should go into luxury. So second part we have seen is how to take control is budgeting. The third, and under this, even more important is to arrest leaky buckets. Yes, arrest your money leaks. Wherever you find that money is leaking out, try to fill that gap. Initially, it would be like learn to be thrifty in right sense. Thrifty in sense, say if I want to buy a coffee and the coffee would cost me like 30 rupees. And if I just travel like a kilometer far and I get a good coffee for 20 rupees, why not do that? Just going kilometer will help me save 10 rupees. I'm giving an example. Or I'll give you one more example. Say if you have to buy something and you do a research and you find out that X or Y place is getting more cheaper, or if you use some credit card online and you get some cashbacks, here the item that you're buying is getting even more cheaper. Or try other multiple websites that you have today and see where you can find it more cheaper. So this is being thrifty in the right sense. So make smart choices while purchase. In a smart choice, I would say, is that required for me to buy right now? Or do I have any alternative? Or can I just live with what I have right now without upgrading myself? So try to make smart choices while you're doing your purchase, because you don't want the money to go to leak out. It's so easy today to lure someone through advertisements and to entice someone and then make you to buy it. So that way you are going to lose your money. But the thing is, you need to be aware of it and stop it. And third part is any AMC contracts that you have, which you don't require and which you think you can do it yourself, that should be because see, AMC contracts are something which comes on monthly basis, or like you say, I should not say this but today, but maybe your Netflix, Amazon, if you don't use it, or that way you can actually cancel it, because the immediate intent is to stop these monthly installments or monthly AMCs, which actually take your money out without even your knowledge, because they come in the initial months, start of the salary time. Your salary is 1, they all come in 1 to 5. They'll take away your money, and then you'll be left with nothing. So try to block, try to identify where I can the repeated payments or recurring payments, wherever I do have, where I can stop it. So try to buy your groceries, medicines where you can find it cheaper. There are a lot of options these days. Online, there are a lot of options where you can find it cheaper and a good fresh variety. So medicines you can buy easily at 10% discount or 15% discount these days. So these are all options available. And always note that when you buy, always note what's the price per quantity. So that way you'll be aware that you're not overpaying, because sometimes what happens is a small size would cost more than you buy a bigger size. So always be aware of the price per quantity, and whenever possible, try to buy a family saver pack if you have more number of people. If you're staying alone, try to buy for something. So if you buy for 1 week, try to buy for 2 to 3 weeks, so that you save on that. When you buy bulk, you actually save a lot. Trust me, this is going to be a big saver if you identify price per quantity part. And then make a list of services that cost every month and unsubscribe, which we saw in the smart in the AMC contracts. Anything that is actually costing you month on month, you need to identify which you don't want. Just stop it. You don't have to pay for that and then keep paying it month on month. So ultimately, what you save is also what you earn. So money saved is money earned. And the most important part is being aware of the traps. There are a lot of traps around you. You do not know how these traps are laid out. But the more important thing is being aware of all these traps. The first thing is, the trap is, once you come out of the college and once you get a nice working job, credit card will be your easiest first debt trap. As we go into the rat race, you will be enjoying your time, and then you will not be knowing how to handle money. And the end, you will be facing financial crunches, and then you'll be forced to take. Then you'll feel, what is the easiest way I can get my money or get the money without asking someone. So that will be a credit card, because credit card, once you move out or once you have a job, you'll be easily able to access a credit card. And with credit card comes at a huge cost. Yes, it's a huge interest rate at around 4 to 5%, and it's a huge cost. Once your CIBIL is affected, you will never ever be able to be eligible to take loans in near future. So always keep your CIBIL report clean. Don't take more number of cards. Don't go inquiries or go shopping for cards. If you get one card, just be sufficient with it. If you just want to use it and then close it in the next month, don't drag it by paying monthly interest. That's a huge interest. Actually, 5% is a huge amount. So just be aware. Because you may be signing off for your friend for as a guarantor. So what happens is it affects your CIBIL, and then when you really need the money, or when you really go for that home loan, when you want to build a family or settle on a family, you will not be eligible because you have this past history. So just be aware of this credit card, because credit card has actually not helped much. Many people who are disciplined actually take advantage of the credit cards, but otherwise it is prudent to just be aware of it. So the next part will be being aware of advertisements that make you sell. Yes, there are a lot of advertisements, there are influencers around, and there are enticing advertisements. Just try to identify advertisements in which, or there will be subtle advertisements which you will never be able to point out, and they'll try to entice you to make that purchase, to go ahead and buy it. So be aware of advertisements, so that you don't get enticed and you make any decisions logically, and you don't get into, or you don't commit your money really fast. So identify the pitfalls of being sold, because advertisements are actually to sell, and if you buy that thing or if you go for it, you're being sold. So do you really need it? Or be aware of the advertisements. If you really need it, then go for it. If not, just know that he's just trying to sell me the things which I don't want. So again, there are a lot of influences in social media. Be aware of those influences, because they will try to sell the things which they are associated with and which we don't want. A lot of things which we don't want actually, and then end up with us. So there's a nice line in a movie called Fight Club. Things that you buy end up things that you own end up owning you. So this happens if you don't want things and you keep buying it, and then it will keep owning you because you start to pay EMIs for those things. So you become they become your masters. So again, insurance is not an investment. Just know that. Many people will start selling you insurance as an investment model, but insurance is never an investment. Insurance, if at all you need it, go for a term insurance. That will help you save for the future. Whenever something happens to you, untoward happens to you, it will help your family. But insurance, apart from anything else, is not investments. It is just pure advertisement tactics to take money out of you. Know what what are your needs and what are your wants. Wants can be luxury. Needs is like having a pair of good clothes, a place to stay, and my basic requirements are my needs. And my wants can be my luxury and many other things. So know what is your needs and your wants. So start being a discipline while spending. The more you have, the more you spend. This is actually the problem. If you be undisciplined, like we discussed, like the people living in paycheck to paychecks, and they earn more than 80 lakhs annum in US, because they're not disciplined in their spending ways. They have habits and they have a lifestyle to fit into, and then they spend money to fit into that lifestyle. So even if you have more, the more you would spend. Don't think that எனக்கு இல்ல நான் spend பண்ண மாட்டேன். But even if you, once your mentality, once you're not aware of these traps, once you're not aware of the problems related to the consumption, you will end up having the same habit going forward, even if you have more money. That is what the traps are. You need to understand that. So we need to be disciplined from the day one. And these are some mental models. Whenever you have something to buy, okay, whenever you have something to buy, have these mental models. Do these things so that you don't end up buying something which you don't need. Delay your purchase by a week. If you want to buy an iPhone, or you want to buy a laptop, or you want to buy a nice bike, just hold on, delay the purchase for a week. Even after a week, if you still have that need to buy, like Kantipata, or it will help me, or XYZ, what have you, if you have good reasons, then go ahead and buy it. And not, then leave it. Because delaying a purchase by week will solve the next problem, which is delayed gratification. There's something called instant gratification. I have done so much of work. I need something for myself. So that is called instant gratification. நான் அவ்வளோ கஷ்டப்பட்டு இது பண்ணியிருக்கேன், எனக்கு வந்து இவ்வளோ salary வந்திருக்கு. This is for me. I will gratify myself instantly. I will not wait for XYZ. I have this has to come for me at the day one. How many of us feel like that? I mean, probably now your students, while going there in the real world, you will have this dilemma. You know, work hard, burn the midnight oil. So when the salary comes, I'll go and buy this particular thing. So that is actually instant gratification. Don't fall into the trap of instant gratification. Delayed gratification will really help you. It's like that slow things which will come, but it will come really big. So and delayed gratification will help you with hyperbolic discounting. So what is hyperbolic discounting is tendency to people to choose smaller or sooner rewards, which is sooner rewards in sense the instant gratification, in comparison to larger and later rewards. Think about the bigger rewards. If you invest this, instead of buying this iPhone for 50K, to see if you invest this amount in buying equity or shares, and then that money it will grow multifold, because iPhone, if you buy today, it's going to only be depreciating asset, and it will lose its value in the next 3 years. But a good share or good stock which you have bought may appreciate in value over time, and you will get the later part, which is larger and later reward. So this is called hyperbolic discounting. So sometimes we are into the social proof. I'm in the group. I have to show that I'm suitable for this group. So we actually, our tendency to think and act as we are, as the others are around us. We'll try to match them, even if we are not capable of matching them. I mean, you can actually match what they buy, but you cannot match their wealth. They may be wealthy enough. They may be having the other source of income to support them. So we cannot match their wealth. What is the point then matching what they own? There's no point at all. So then this social proof will lead to the last point, which is comparison trap. Let's not compare with anyone. Compare yourself with what you are. Because all this mental model, delayed gratification, hyperbolic discounting, social proof, comparison trap will actually help you to not fall into the trap of spending your money. It will make you aware, and then you see it will lead to the larger reward in the later stage. And it's going to be a slow process, and that's why you see this nice. I like this image. This image is what appears to be is not what you see. See, on the right hand side, this rabbit would have a nice leaf or bigger leaf which he has to show off. But ultimately, he might have a small carrot, and that carrot is actually his wealth. If you just see the social proof in comparison, you may want to match the other person, and you might just want to show it off to him. But ultimately, he or she may not have that wealth underneath them. They just want to show off. This is actually showing off to be rich, but not wealthy. The one on the rabbit on the left hand side, he may not have things to show off. He may not have a BMW. He may not have a very lousy lifestyle or an iPhone to hold. But if you look underneath, this is something like he has a huge amount of wealth that he's actually been accumulated, and that is growing passively and silently. And he doesn't have to show anyone. Ultimately, what will matter is what wealth you're having in hand. So this is what actually matters. It doesn't matter what you show off to others. It's easy to be rich, but it's difficult to accumulate wealth. And wealth is what going to stay with you, even and it is going to grow faster also. So now we move on to the other chapter of asset and liability. Again, this comes in purchase. I mean, when you buy something, okay, this would go in this is where it actually leads up to. Are you buying an asset or are you buying a liability? Just give me an example. How many of you think buying a car is asset or liability? Yes. Someone would be thinking that a car would be an asset, or someone would think a car is liability, or some would actually, since you're business students, you will know the car is a depreciating asset, so probably it should come with a liability. See, let me tell you what exactly is ultimate truth going forward. Cash is actually not the king. Yes, I'm sorry to say this, but cash is not the king. Only cash flow is the king. Exactly. Yeah, this is the most important truth. This is the ultimate truth. Cash flow is king, not cash is not the king. Having cash X amount in the bank is not going to make you rich. But where do you invest that amount is only where you get more returns. And then how the monthly the flow of cash, the more number of flows, and the right amount of decision that you make is only going to make you more wealthier. So this is my favorite author. I mean, he's actually Robert Kiyosaki, and he has spoken about the golden rules of cash flow. And he says the dash buy assets and the dash only have expenses. The dash buys liabilities which they think are asset. Now I'm going to reveal you what are these dashes. The rich buys assets. The poor only have expenses. The middle class buys liabilities they think are assets. So the poor and the middle class work for money. See, this is a very, very strong and powerful line. The poor and middle class work for money, but the rich, they have money which work for them. I'll go to the back slide. This is what the wealth is. This is what the money. This is what the rich are. Rich will never show off the money. They have the wealth and the money which will actually work for them. This is the rabbit on the left hand side. So the idea is to buy assets and to accumulate wealth. So that we move out of that rat race. Our financial goal should be to move out of the rat race. Just starts small. It's okay. We don't have to need a big amount to start investing. You can start small. Even start with ₹2,000. Save ₹2,000 per month, and you can just start investing. So what matters is not the amount, but order matters. You can save and spend, not spend and save. That's why I said order matters. Whenever you get first salary in hand, first save or invest and then spend. So start small, do the saving first and then spending, because you don't want to do the saving at the last. So it takes an hour to earn ₹2,000, but a few seconds to spend it. It's easy to spend ₹2,000 note, and it takes hours to earn the same amount. So that's the power of saving. So golden rule is money saved is money earned. So what are different types of assets? There are different types of assets are appreciating assets like gold, which is real money, real estates and rent, fetching properties. Again, these are appreciating assets. Shares and equity, fixed deposits, dividend yielding stocks that yield dividend, NCDs, which again yield monthly interest or quarterly interest. These are all appreciating assets. Bonds, NCDs, which I just talked about, and owning a business. I'm going to talk loans to buy depreciating assets. Never take loans. You can sometimes take a loan to buy appreciating assets, like investing in business or buying something, but never ever take a loan for purchasing a depreciating asset, because bad loan taken to purchase, it's a liability. To take a loan to purchase a depreciating asset, it's a liability. So whenever you have some amount, or only then you commit to, say, buying your mobile or electronic gadgets. So till then, you can actually just wait. So it's easy to earn money. That's what my grandfather always says. It's easy to earn money, but really, really hard to safely keep money. As we saw in the first slide, when Anil Ambani had actually $42 billion in hand. Maybe it was easy for him to get that entire wealth, but it was very difficult for him to keep the money safely and not losing its value. So it's very, very, very difficult. Even more difficult. Earning is difficult, but even more difficult to keep money safely. So that's why the only answer to this is build assets. As more amount of assets that you build, it will actually help you move out of the rat race faster. So build assets, create passive incomes to quit the rat race and live in peace. That's the most important point. What we're doing is, rat race will never give peace. We need to live in peace, and the idea over here is to create multiple streams of income. So build assets and build a passive income. So what most people do is they earn income and then buy luxuries, like the car or fancy phone. But what rich would do is he would earn an income, he will invest in assets, and whatever he earns from that assets, he will then purchase luxury. See, these are two important differences. And please understand this difference is very, very important. It is not that you should not buy luxury. I'm never against it. No, I mean, if at all, I've made a point repeatedly, but I'm never against luxury. Luxury should be bought, but how it should be bought is what we are discussing, and never to enjoy luxury. So luxury can be enjoyed or should be enjoyed by building passive flows of income, and with that, whenever you get that passive income, buy and enjoy your life and enjoy luxury. That is what my ultimate aim is. We are only changing the mechanics of to reach it, and not discussing about if luxury is really bad. No, we're not discussing that at all. It is just that what some people do and why they're successful, and what the most of us do. So this is I'm revealing you out over there. They build assets, they buy assets, they have this passive income, and then they indulge in luxury. So how to buy luxury? Again, build capital from savings. Never, and the important point is never lose your capital. Build capital. The second point is never lose capital. Spend and never spend capital. When you have a capital, never spend the capital. Try to build upon it, and whatever you earn from the capital, that can be spent on things that you want. So buy from passive incomes that is earned from this capital. I hope my point is very clear. This is what I'm trying to prove. I'm trying to tell you. Is that a capital? Save, make income out of it, or make capital gains out of it, and then buy things that you want. So this is the cash flow cycle. We do. We earn, we save, and then we buy assets, and then we start accumulating assets, and then with that asset we either reinvest back in assets, or we buy things that we want. And you can also do one thing is, if you think like Bitcoin or things like that, which you think you can risk your assets, you can always set aside 10% of your wealth, of your passive income or your wealth, to risk your assets, so that even if you lose a 10%, it will not lose your entire capital. Never put 100% in riskier assets. Like crypto was actually talk of the town in 1.5 years back, but after many exchanges have fallen, crypto is actually losing its charm. But again, it is getting back. Some of the assets actually, currencies actually, the coins actually gotten back. But again, you should never risk the entire capital on that. Part of it can be risked, because even if you lose it, it doesn't mind you. If it gives you good returns, it will give you amazing returns. Else, you still have your entire capital saved. So common mistakes, again, we don't start saving, and we need to start it the earlier the better. And we need to save first and then spend next. Important to invest in savings, and liquidity matters. The most important thing is liquidity. Even if you invest in assets, make sure that most of the part of the assets are liquid. I'll tell you why. Many people I've met, I mean, I have a number of clients. They are rich in the sense of they're very wealthy. They own a lot of land banks, but thing is they have no cash flow, and that is where they actually get stuck. So my idea would be to build assets in such a way that they are more liquid, because lands are not easily liquid. It takes time. I mean, if you need money in a month or say next week, you cannot liquidate land. So lands are actually for the next generation. It is not for you. It is for the next generation. You enjoy the capital gain out of it. What is liquid is the gold that you own, the fixed deposits, the NCDs, bonds, and the equity. These are all your liquid assets. So never invest in things that you don't understand. Just because someone has done it, our pandar, our solar, he should be knowing it. Let me invest it. Then those are all under risky parts. We should only do 10% of it because you don't understand it. So try to understand what you're investing in, what you're buying. Only then you invest. Else, don't do that at all. That's the biggest mistake. Again, as I discussed, real estate next gen, and risk should be only taken 10 to 15% of your savings. And always understand return on equity. That is, if I put X money, after Y number of years, what would be my return out of the money invested, capital invested? So always think about in those perception, those trends. Will I get 12% return? Will I get 15% return? On an average, see mutual funds, and if you invest, 15% is a very good return. On 15% CAGR is a very good return. So you need to have a mix of everything going forward, and do not wait. Yeah. So always look for value. Whenever you buy something, look for value. Cheaper, how can I get same thing in a better say if I want to buy a mouse, okay. Now when I bought this mouse, I bought it for say in Flipkart for 400 rupees. But I sent my person to Ritchie Street and try to identify if they have similar mouse in Ritchie Street, and they're charging me 1,000 rupees for this wireless for Bluetooth mouse. So why pay double when I get it for half the price? This is what being thrifty is. Simple as that. When I had to buy a laptop, the first thing that came in my mind was a MacBook Air that was costing me 1 lakh rupee and what. But then I thought, is it required to spend 1 lakh? Why would I do that? I mean, if I just wanted to use it for my office purpose, then I decided to buy a laptop for 35,000. But again, this helped me save 65,000 rupees. So it is not that it is the choices that you make. You see what value you get for what price you pay. So these are all the mental models which I want to tell you, so that you are aware of all those things. So price is what you pay, but the value is what you get. This is famously said by Warren Buffett. And money saves, money earned. So if you buy things that you don't need, and soon you will sell things which you need. So these are all the important things. So again, going forward to the first slide, and now this slide again, I'm coming back. So had you invested rupees 100, 2000, and inflation adjusted, it would have been 196 rupees today. The value would be 196. So 100 rupees, which is in 2010, would be value around close to 200 rupees in today's terms at 7% inflation. But the solution for cash is to buy assets. That's what I've been rounded: silver, fixed deposit, gold, Reliance. I mean the stocks, and of course some other stocks. So solution way forward is don't keep cash idle. Invest in appreciating assets that will actually help you move forward in your financial ladder. And the fourth and most important point is the production part. What all I discuss over here is the consumption part. I'm trying to make you aware of the consumption pitfalls, what you do, what you should not. But ultimately, see, just having an X amount of income and you want to have a good life, that doesn't mean that you should restrict yourself. You should actually focus more on how you can you can earn more money, so that you are out of the rat race even faster. So that is why make more money and have or have a higher income. So ways to do that. I mean, let's just discuss that. So going forward, I just want to make you understand the first one, which I said money is actually a perceived value. What value are you putting to the table? So even if you're working somewhere, what value are you giving to your employer is what your salary would be. If you're able to give him more value out of that your work, he will actually be ready to pay you a high salary. Mind my words, mark my words. It is only the value that you bring to the table, be it your job or be it your business. So this is point I will come up in the in the next slides. But money is actually a perceived value. What value I perceive? Say if I have a calculator. So this is a perceived value. I mean, it should be somewhere around 250 or 300 rupees. So had this been a scientific calculator, then it would have been a little higher price. So it is actually a perceived value. So to go forward, identify the problem in the market, create the solution for the problem, and then sell the solution to a more number of people. And this will actually increase your these 3 points which I'm trying to tell you, these entire points I'm trying to tell you is from the point of view of an entrepreneur. So if you want to really become an entrepreneur, identify what the problem is there in the market, try to find a solution for it, and see if you can scale up that solution. Okay, see if you can scale up the solution. For money as a perceived value, let me just give you a small example. Say if you have a cycle, okay, and I know most of you would have ride a cycle, bicycle when they're in the school, or even today you'll be riding it. And now, if you want to inflate the tire, okay, how much amount of money would you be giving to the puncture shop just to inflate the tire? Maybe 5 rupees max, right? Now this is a small problem. Now you need to understand what problem is that tire vendor or tire puncture person solving you. Is he solving a bigger problem or a smaller problem? So the amount of problem, the type of problem that he's solving, he'll be getting more money, because the value that you give to solve the bigger problem is more. So that's why you'll give more problem. So come example, say the gear of the cycle is actually gone bad, or it's not working. So would you be paying more, or would you be paying less than what you paid for inflating the tires? Of course, you'll be paying more. So that is a bigger problem than the inflating of the cycle pressure. So understand what problem you're solving. So this is how you will be valued in the market. Even if it is in job, or even if it is in your business, you only have to identify the problems that you're solving. Try to always find complex problems which you can solve. Easy problems, the market will be saturated. They will not be willing to pay you more. If you have a niche, try to identify what niche I can do that and what problems I can solve. Because identify the problems which are difficult problems and try to find solution for it. So that is what will differentiate you. That is what will help you extract more money out of it. And that because again, money is perceived value. And always use debt, which is loans, for production and never for consumption. Production in a sense, if you want to upskill yourself, if you want to start a business, if you need a working capital for business, or if you need something to invest in business, always go for debt only for production, where you can earn more money, because you borrow at a cost. Interest comes at a cost, and then you invest in money, so you make more money out of it, so that the money which you earn out of it goes back to the servicing of the debt. But this will never happen when you buy for consumption. Say if I want to buy for my phone, for my car, or for my furnitures, or for my anything else, always avoid taking any debt for consumption. There's something called BNPL these days, buy now, pay later. All this will entice you to use your credit history and give you debts, and they'll give you 5,000 loan, 10,000 instant loan, 15,000 instant loan. Just avoid all those things, because it is just distraction on your path towards your financial independence. So use debt wisely, use it for production, never for consumption. These days, Shark Tank season 2 is on, and as you go towards your journey for a startup or to a business, you need to understand how you value business. Now that you've identified a problem, when you start your journey as an entrepreneur, you create a solution for the problem, and you're trying to mass sell the problem. Okay. Now what will happen is you will meet people like myself or many other like me who would value your business and on different scales. I mean, there are different parameters to value your business. So try to understand, try to know. So these next two few slides are to know exactly how your business would be valued, on what basis the business is being valued, so that you're aware of the things. The first thing is the business scalable? If you have a solution, say, for example, say Zomato. Zomato is basically food delivery services. Was the business scalable? So can this be scaled? Can this idea be scaled to multiple cities? Can I grow this business? Same model, can I apply and grow it in different places? That's called scalability. How far I can grow, how fast I can grow. That's called scalability. Can I make the business profitable in the long run or in the near time frame? Currently, it may not be making profits, but the idea would. I mean, yesterday I think one of your speaker talked about being cash flow positive for business, and that's the most important thing. When you start a business, try to keep that as your core role of making the business as cash flow positive, because that will help you not to burn much and not to burn at all. So I think your yesterday speaker, Mr. Surendra Bora, actually talked about this. So being profitable business from the day one will actually value your business more than being at loss, because nobody wants to, these days, nobody will have an appetite to invest in a business that is making loss. And third thing is how fast you can grab the market share. So currently, if say you are doing some solution for it, how fast you can actually grab the market share, what market share you're actually having it. So, and this will depend upon the scalability of the business. So, who else is your competition? So that is what the next point is, moat, because how fast your idea can be replicated. If it can be replicated, then that business will not have much of value. If the ideas cannot be replicated fast enough, that means that gives you a lot of lead time to take lead in the business, and that will be the first mover's advantage for you in the business. So moat of the business is more important. Who else is doing it? Who else is not doing it? How fast you're able to scale it up, and how fast you're able to grab the market. So that will actually be a moat. And moat is something, the solution, how fast your business can be replicated. Because if it can be replicated, then you will find a lot of competition in your business. And there are business which actually focus upon changing habits. Like the basic one would be like Dunzo. I mean, to send from A to B, we used to send a person. We never had the service of Dunzo. So Dunzo is actually taking care of that. It's changing our habits. Even if we had to send something around, we would actually now Dunzo it, like how we used to say Google it. Now we are doing it Dunzo it. So likewise, Zomato's or Swiggy is actually changing our habits. Previously, we used to go to restaurants, and then now they are giving the comfort at home. So these are like, is the business able to change the old habits? And that way, the new habits, they take care of it. If they take place of the old habits, that's again valued more. So these are the key things which actually this is a very vast field, but I'm just giving you a gist of what the important things are. And next part we'll talk about the valuation. Whenever you go and pitch for valuation with any of the investors, you need to know about two things. One is the pre-money valuation, and the other thing is post-money valuation. So pre-money valuation is you value a company including the funding which is coming in, or the latest round of funding. So the valuation of a company including the latest round of funding. I'll give you the examples. Don't have to go into the jargon, but I just want to give you, there's something called pre-money and post-money. And I'll tell you which is more beneficial or which is not beneficial, or which the investors would want to invest in. I mean, they would generally, investors go for post-money valuations, pre-money valuations. If you're in initial stage, they will go for pre-money valuations. So just try to be aware of what kind of different valuations are. So post-money refers to how much a company is worth after it receives the money and the investments which is into. For example, say an investor wants to put in $250,000, okay, and he wants to he's saying that, boss, in pre-money valuation, say in the pre-money valuation, this particular thing, the investor says that, the entrepreneur says that my company is valued $1 million. Okay, again, let me just go do this very slowly. The pre-money valuation, the investor wants to invest $250,000, and the valuation of pre-money is $1 million, which the business is asking for. So now what will happen is the investor will be getting the share based on the pre-money valuation of $1 million plus his new money, which is $250,000. So total money is, or total value would be 1 million, one, or in an Indian sense, it will be $12,50,000. So this will be the pre-money valuation, and note the percentage of share that he gets in the company. He'll be getting 20% in a pre-money valuation. Whereas if he puts the same money in a post-money valuation of say $10 lakh, okay, he will be getting a higher share of 25%, because including the money, the valuation is 1 lakh or $10 lakh. So that way, his share is 250 divided by 10 lakh will be worth 25%. So you will get now you understand what is beneficial for you or what is not beneficial for you. Based on that, you can actually pitch into your investors. So this is the pre-money and post-money valuation. Let me give you a workable example. Say if you had a company and the company had issued 100 shares, and we are only dealing here with post-money equity valuation, because the Shark Tank, they deal with post-money valuations and not pre-money valuations. So suppose a company has issued 100 shares, and Anna and Kanna both have 50% each, and they have 50 shares in that same company. Now they're looking for a fresh investments, and they go to Shark Tank, and Piyush over there for Lenscard, he says, boss, I want to invest in your company, and I'm ready to invest 50 lakhs for a 20% equity, because they don't discuss pre-money and post-money in Shark Tank. If you have noticed, they only discuss, boss, I want to invest X amount for in return of X amount of Y amount of equity. So if he now Piyush says that boss, I want to invest 50 lakhs, and in return of 20% equity dilution. So what that really means is, he means that when there's 20% dilution with 50 lakhs of equity, the company would worth the investment divided by the percentage equity, which is 2.5 crores. So this is the post-money valuation of that company. Now what will happen to the shares or the equity held by Anna and Kanna? Let us see in the next slide. So what will happen is, since 100 shares are total issued 100 shares, okay, total issued shares 100. So company has to go for more dilution, and they'll issue 24 fresh shares. Okay, I'll tell you how this 24 has come up. So since 20% is what Piyush wanted to invest, so 20% of the new equity will be 24 shares, because 124 into 20% is 24 shares. And now the new shareholding would be, Anna would have 50 shares, Kanna would have 50 shares, and Piyush would have 24 shares. And Anna's value would be now 1 crore. Kanna's again would be the same 1 crore, and Piyush would be valuing it his shares at 50 lakhs. So when you add up total, it will be 2.5 crores. So I hope this is clear. The current season of Shark Tank which is going on, you will better be able to understand, because they deal with post-money valuations, and whatever amount is being raised for X number of equity, the valuation part comes up with investment divided by equity dilution. This is the formula that they use, and that's how they come up with the entire valuation of the company. Hope this is clear for you. And again, the last, I just want to conclude that the goal is not to be filthy rich. Your real goal should be rich in adventure, rich in your good health, rich in knowledge, in laughter, and family. So, and also finally, be rich in love. This is the most important part. Being financially rich is just one part of the entire goal, and this is not the only goal. And so that we don't lose our focus from the other good things of life, and don't value money how much it has to be valued. So always be in control of the money, and don't let money control you, because you need money so that you enjoy the better part of life, your health, enhance your knowledge, spend time with your family. So because that is what makes you more rich. So thank you again. Again, the last quote would be, a business or job will keep you basic earnings to come, business or job will give you basic earnings to keep you from becoming poor, but only the right investments will make you rich. Any questions? I'm open to it, please.
So, thank you for your valuable session. We have some questions.
Yes, please.
Being a student, we face obstacles in our financial choice, like lack of time or concentration. How can we deal with that, sir?
Did you say lack of time?
Lack
Sorry,
of time or concentration. Hello.
yes, Gayatri, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes,
Being a
absolutely.
student, we face obstacles in our financial choice like lack of time or obstacles or concentration.
Is it because of the financial struggle you face these
Hello.
issues? Am I audible?
Sir?
Am I audible? Gayatri, am I audible? Hello.
Sir?
Yes, am I
Hello.
audible?
Yeah, sir. Being a student, we face obstacles in our financial choice like lack of time, concentration. So how can we deal with it, sir?
See, Gayatri, what I would say is lack of time and concentration is never related to your financial strengths. I'll tell you the other way around. I mean, of course, financial issues may actually take over your emotional and mental health. Is that what your doubt is? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes. You only need to right now focus only on things that you can control and not focus on things that you cannot control. There are some things which you cannot control. For you, the important thing is you give priority to things that are under your control, which is studies, to get a good job, because you're just starting your life and you would want to be aware of such things, because most of us, I mean most of 90% of every one of us would face the same issues while starting afresh. And these are actually mentally grueling things, because financial issues are actually not just a physical problem, it's a mental problem. As you said, that it is going to take out your focus and concentration. So because you're trying to overthink on things which are out of your control, so just focus on things that are under your control, and leave out rest because that is not under your control. Hope this answers your point.
Yes, sir. So the next question. How could we identify niches in today's dynamic market to build feasible startups?
To build.
One minute. Hello.
Yes, please go on.
How could we identify niches in today's dynamic market to build feasible startups?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. It is difficult to identify niche, and that market is really really dynamic, because India is a really really growing country, and the youth in India are actually working from all around the places to find niche in what they do. And actually, to be very very frank, this is the most important and most tough question which I could answer. What I would say is, people actually find niche in very very small things. We would be amazed on what they make business out of. I mean, they make business out of very small things, and they find a niche in doing that. Let me give you an example. In Shark Tank, if you have noticed, people having a perfume shop. I mean, that she took the perfume, it's called Ether, and it comes in small bottles. Okay, this is available everywhere in Chennai also. For 100 rupees, you find the small bottle. But she has branded that company. It's a perfume. It's small. It's called Ether actually, and she has branded that product very well. She has taken it throughout the country, and she's actually scaling it up, and she's making that thing accessible at your doorstep. So the idea, the challenge over here is, can I identify a problem, or can I identify an opportunity through that problem, and how can I use technology to scale it? So to tell you what kind of niche you can identify, that's up to you, and that is up to your creativity, because nothing is wrong and no ideas are bad. It's only thing is, we either learn out of it or we grow out of it. So keep your eyes open and try to be aware. I mean, it's a lot of YouTube videos, or a lot of information out there, which is actually will discuss about what the new entrepreneurs are working on. and that will actually give you a sense and give you an idea. If you have any ideas, if it is better that you discuss it within entrepreneur mindset community, rather than discussing with anyone who's not an entrepreneur. Because once you have someone in that field, and once you discuss that idea with them, they will actually guide you in a right way whether this idea can be scaled up or not. So I try to identify a mentor so that they can actually guide you and try to identify that niche that you have. Of course, you have a wonderful staff in your college, and even someone who's in the industry. Try to identify with them. Try to discuss ideas, because only when you discuss ideas in this stage, you will know which can be which can work out, which can be scaled up, so you can get validation of your ideas. So that is more important at this current stage, because your exposure may be on a lower level. Once you move out, you will be exposed to a lot of other things, so that then you will be able to better find out or better identify what can be my niche. I always try to find the niche should be related to your passion, because that is what is going to drive you, going to give you energy to move forward, even if the results are not coming really fast, because that passion is going to drive you. So try to find your niche when in the lines of your passion. Yes, Gayatri.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Is there any more questions? Hello?
Thank you, sir. It was pleasure having you with us.
Thank you. I really hope that what has been discussed.
It was a very informative session for our students, sir.
I'm really glad. I'm really glad that I could come here and discuss with you and to make it a point that understand that what things are actually around. So thank you for having me, and thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Shagun, for inviting me. Thank you so much. All right. So can I leave?
Ma'am, shall we wind up, ma'am? Yeah, we can. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your session. It was a wonderful session, and you took such a nice time to brief the students on whatever questions are being raised. So thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm really glad to be here, ma'am. Thank you so much. Shagun, can I leave?
Yeah, please, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, all the best. Thank you.